And you are listening to Talk Radio 1190. This is the Ask the Experts radio show, and we're privileged again to have Roger Wakefield, the owner-operator of Texas Green Plumbing, with us. And we're going to dive right back in, Roger, with toilet talk. I have changed a toilet one time, and it was not my most fun thing, I have to say, around the house. What should people know? What would be the indicators that it's time to actually change your toilet?
If a toilet's made before 1994, you can change it, and you're automatically going to save water because you're going to use less water to flush. And saving you water is also going to save you money. Clogged toilets are, if you've got a toilet that gets clogged often, that's something that's an indicator that maybe you've got an issue inside the toilet. Maybe it's old. It's not as smooth as it used to be on the inside. Clogged toilets are a pain. They create issues around the house. A sign that you may want to change it is if it's going to cost you quite a bit to repair it, it may be worth it investing that money into a new toilet. Toilet repairs get costly, just like other things that, happen around the house in plumbing. So looking at it and realizing whether you need to replace it or repair it, it's kind of you got to look at what you're investing in it. So you said that wasn't your best thing. What was the problem you had? Do you remember?
Well, yes, this was on first of all, it was on the half bathroom downstairs. And so there was not a lot of room to move. And my mother-in-law and I were working on this job, which has its own special qualities to it. But the two of us, it was heavy, frankly, for the two of us, and trying to squeeze it into that tight spot. And then there's the wax ring we were dealing with. And it was quite a few years ago, I have to say. But and we're like wielding it over our heads, trying to get in there. So I would just say the logistics of it. It was not a large bathroom, probably was part of the problem.
I've got a real good friend, Chad Wall. We were really lucky. As most people know, American Standard hired me as their expert plumber. And we've actually got a video right now. I believe there's a link to it off our YouTube channel. If not, there's links to it through Facebook, or you can Google Roger Wakefield American Standard. The videos will come up. There's one where we actually installed an ActiClean Plus American Standard toilet. Chad Wall was gracious enough to let us do it at his house and do the video there. And it was really nice because he got to actually see what it's like to take out a toilet and put the new toilet in, and we go through the steps very well. So anyone looking to change out a toilet, that'd be a good video to go watch because it'll give them some rough ideas. And like John says, y'all can call me at the office or send me an email or go on our website, and we will communicate with you and help you. And I've got customers I've talked to 15 to 30 minutes trying to walk them through problems before.
Really? That's great. And again, that number is 972-442-4101, 972-442-4101 for Roger Wakefield to get that advice, or if you need a plumber to come out, Texas Green Plumbing. Now, what is the story with the wax ring? How quickly does it actually break down?
A wax ring doesn't break down. The only reason that a wax ring ever becomes a problem is if the sewer backs up and there's water pressure from the inside, or say you've got a stoppage that isn't in your toilet, but it's in the lead bin where the pipe comes out of your toilet, it goes down and turns and goes into a sanitary T, and then a vent goes up through the roof. If you've got a blockage down there and you flush that toilet and that water sets up in the bowl, now it's creating pressure around that wax ring and can push the wax out. But the wax, it's a real soft wax. It's almost like a candle. If you leave a candle in a room in a house, it's going to stay there forever. A wax ring is about the same. It's a softer wax that seals off really well, and it doesn't really deteriorate. The water can push it out or cause it to go away, and that can create problems.
Okay. Now, we had a problem with an upstairs toilet that I think the fitting from before we moved in wasn't exactly correct on the what was coming out of the toilet, and so the pipes didn't match up exactly as they should. And we had a leak that came through the ceiling down into the first floor. It was just lovely. But after we got all that fixed, it seemed like the toilet was still sliding a little bit. And some people said, not a lot, but a little bit. And some people said it shouldn't slide at all. And I thought, I don't want to dive in. There's not a problem. Nothing's going wrong. Is that correct that if there's even, let's say, an inch play there, that if somebody puts his or her feet on the floor and just pushes a little bit, that sliding is something that should never be happening?
It should never happen. Like I said, a toilet repair is a very important thing that most homeowners can do. You've got 2 brass bolts that stick up on each side. Check the nuts on those and see if they're snug. The nuts may have come loose. I've seen old toilet bolts that rust or the flange below it breaks. Most problems, as long as it's not a flange, most of these problems are issues that a homeowner can fix themselves. You can take those nuts off. You can pull that toilet. You can clean off the old wax. You clean it off on the flange, and as long as the flange isn't cracked, isn't broken, it's secured to the floor, that's what you want, or that's what is there anchoring down the toilet. So, like I said, for a toilet repair, that's a pretty expensive one, or not an expensive one. It's pretty inexpensive unless it's the flange. If it's the flange and it's on the ground floor, it can become costly because you've got to chip out concrete around it to replace it, different things that you have to go through there.
Okay. And what sort of problems have you seen with people who did have the courage to go forth and do a toilet change out and something went awry?
Problem number 1 for a toilet repair is that toilet is made of porcelain. It will break. And not only will it break, it's a sharp edge. It's like glass. You can cut yourself. I actually had a gentleman working with me at Medical City Hospital when we did the E2 building, and he actually cut himself on the tile installing the flange, and I mean gashed his hand open where we actually walked next door and got him stitches. Glass, the porcelain, the tile, they're all very sharp edges. That is one of the most important things. Be gentle when you're tightening up that toilet. You want to tighten it down where it doesn't move. Plumbers will use shims or wedges in there sometimes to help alleviate that problem. If that toilet rocks and moves a lot, that's going to cause that wax to compact, and then you're going to get sewer gas smells or water if the toilet ever backs up.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Absolutely.
Real quick. I guess I had a toilet issue this past week, and it started to where I had a leak coming from, it felt like the I guess the bowl of whatever, the tank. It was coming out those 2 little screws, it seemed. But in further investigating, there was, I guess, a ring in between the tank and the base.
The tank and the bowl, yes, sir.
And I guess that seal ended up, I guess, deteriorating. And I had a gentleman, he replaced that, and then he left. He's like, oh, you'll be fine. It's going to seep a little bit. Well, the first time I went to flush it, all the water came and just went onto the floor.
No, number one, guys, this is Anthony, our producer, a great guy. The tank to bowl gasket it can be a difficult replacement because most people a lot of people don't even realize the tank and the bowl are 2 separate pieces. Everybody looks at it as, I've got a toilet. Well, you do, but there's many pieces that make that toilet work. The tank to bowl gasket is what is attached to the bottom of the flush valve. And the flush valve is what's attached to the flapper. That gasket there, depending on what type toilet you have, there are a few different sizes, a few different shapes. Different people have their own version and their own special brand. They're not difficult to replace. There's just certain order that things have to go through. You've got the brass bolts. If I was changing it, Anthony, what I would do is I'd pull it. I would take that complete flush valve out. They make replacements. I believe you can actually get them at Home Depot. We use a Douglas flush valve, and you can replace that depending on what size and brand it is. But that flush valve is going to come with new toilet bolts. It's going to come with a new gasket. And one thing that I tell everybody, too, is when you take the old stuff off like that, make sure you clean it up real good because you want all this new product to seal off really, really well.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing, I called him back. I'm like, this isn't working out. And he, instead of trying to fix it, he's like, I'm just going to put a new toilet in. So, I think he could have actually just fixed it and gone about it the right way. But I think he just decided, it's easier for me just to replace the toilet. Is that just the plumber just being lazy?
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that because I don't know what brand the toilet was. I don't know how old the toilet was. Some of these toilets are hard to find parts for, and I get that.
Well, you did replace it with one of the new high efficiency ones.
To be honest, and you're probably going to save money in the long run because it is going to save you water every time you flush. Does that mean the other one couldn't be fixed? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Sometimes getting those parts too, though, it may take longer to get the parts. And do you want to pay a plumber to drive all around town because you've got a specialty part? And I know people don't understand that, but if you've got a toilet that requires a specialty part and that plumber's got to drive, say you live in Allen and the part is in downtown Dallas, and we run into that a lot, especially on not really hard to find items, but specialty plumbing equipment. Yeah. There's not a lot of places that stock those parts. Luckily in Dallas, we've got it made. We've got Teeters, and they can pretty much find or get anything that we need. So it's a good deal.
Yeah, and it's like I guess with the toilet, when it was put in at first, it was molded to the floor within the tile. So whoever laid the tile laid it, I guess, flush with the toilet. So now I have a toilet sitting on top of my tile, and I think, like you said, that wax ring, I mean, I can't see how it's fitting on there correctly.
They make extra thick bowl wax.
Okay.
It's like almost two of them stacked together.
So that may be what they did.
They may have done that. There's also extension rings that you can put on the flange for a situation like that. I recommend anybody who's getting a tile floor to pull the toilet before the tile gets done.
Yeah.
And then they can actually cut the tile in, yes, sir, all the way into the flange, and that's a good deal.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think he was just trying to take the easy way out, and it looked like he had to go the hard way, but it is what it is, you know.
There's a lot of plumbers out there that do want to take the easy way out.
Thank goodness I'm renting and it's a condo.
So you didn't have to pay for the toilet?
Oh, no, sir.
Oh, that could be a key issue right there. Now, we're going to come back and talk a little bit about changing sinks, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should look for. You're listening to Roger Wakefield of Texas Green Plumbing, the owner-operator. Kind of new at the business, though, only 38 years experience in business. If you have any questions for Roger right now, Talk Radio 1190, the number is 214-787-1190. Roger's number, 972-442-4101, 972-442-4101, or TexasGreenPlumbing.com, or look to his YouTube channel. And we will be right back on the Ask the Experts radio show.